Hello, welcome, Sparrow International. Sparrow's here. So, today I want to talk about how we could heal each other and mend rifts and bridge gaps. Yay! Because there's a big chasm in human day-to-day interactions. And I mean, even when I'm out there, like, I, they, a lot of times I'm told I'm better off meeting people in person versus online, right? For friendships or dating or any other reason, because we don't really, people get to hide behind the online image, and it's so true. A lot of people do, even I do. Like, I don't want everyone to see my personal issues, so I show them what I want them to see. I post the happy moments, never the sad ones, right? So now, uh, I noticed an interaction amongst us, a chasm in coming together and living day to day life and going about our day to day life by interacting with each other. And there's a certain coldness I notice. And I want to point out fake hippies. Stop. Stop hiding behind an image of hippie and destroying what is really make a hippie a hippie. A hippie is not a person who doesn't wash their underarms and doesn't believe in soap. That's just the propaganda that was placed on hippies, so that this way the true meaning of hippie, being a hippie, could get lost. And I see that it did. And then a lot of people took on the style of being a hippie, but they're really not. A hippie is here. It's in your heart. You're thinking with a freedom and love and connection and no war and peace. But let me explain to you that peace, freedom, all those things are always being threatened by somebody who wants to disrupt it, right? We have people who feed off of the negativity and create negativity and then hide behind a facade of peace and hippie. I'm a flow artist. A flow art is a very flow art. That genre is a hippie loving community, but I've seen a lot of people who hide behind that image, and they really are very mean. I say it right. Keep it simple, stupid. Right? They're mean. So how do we heal this? How do we understand this? First of all, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself. I think it's just how we choose to stand up for ourselves tends to get lost in translation, especially when things get heated. And a lot of people believe that due to that lack of understanding of what it takes to make peace, is that it requires work. It's just like any other relationship. If you're in a relationship, especially a long-term relationship, right, it requires work to maintain the happiness between you two. It requires communication, even having arguments, and how you choose to dispute. When the communication is cut off, that breaks down the relationship, and everything else breaks down, and then you guys break up. So these are understanding. So let's apply this concept to how we can maintain peace within our communities, our online communities, and our in-person communities, our work community, and everywhere else. It requires work. It requires you to stand up and say something when you don't like what's happening. Emotions, ladies and gentlemen, are not the problem. Emotions actually tell you that something's not right when you have, or something is right, depending on what's happening. That emotion could be a positive emotion like happiness, glee, and all those other good feelings, love. But when we feel anger or saddened or depressed, that's letting us know what's going on around us is not, it's not being healthy towards us, and we're having a healthy response to that. And our world has not emotionally matured. we do not know how to handle seeing emotions. And I learned this lesson the hard way when I first, my late husband first passed away. I'm at my most emotional state. And I feel like I did very well in handling it. In fact, a lot of people would say, oh my gosh, I'm surprised that it happened so, at that time it would be like a month, 2 months, or whatever. And when I would talk to people about it, and what I presented to them, I wasn't overly emotional because that was my privacy. That was how I emotionally responded, was my right to my privacy. But there were times that, when grief hits you, you don't always have control over when and where. There were times like little things would trigger my grief because it would just remind me of him. Like, his name was Sparrow, so so when I saw a little baby sparrow, which is everywhere, but at that time, if I saw a sparrow fly, I would want to break down and cry, because we used to love looking at sparrows as a little representation of our family. So, and then sparrows are very community minded, so that's why I took on the name Sparrow as my stage name for everything I do, because I want to represent what sparrows represent: community and unity. They're a unit. And what happens is, a sparrow only stands alone when they're grieving over their mate, but they mate for life. And then they stay with their community. So when their mate dies, that's when you see a sparrow alone. That's a grieving sparrow. And that's basically me. I'm a very sociable person. I love hanging around different groups of people. I love learning new things about people. And then having, lost my husband, and then seeing how cold it wasn't. Even the fact that I lost him, because I understood the reality of loss in life, and I get it. It's part of life. What really hurt me more was when I reached out to my community for comfort and nurturing me through this. They demonized my emotions. My emotions became a weapon for them to use against me, and it costed me and my family, and it cost us so much. And then I found myself having to oppress my emotions to protect myself. And then I'm out here and I see a lot of people doing the same thing, because it's dangerous to be emotional these days. And I want that to heal. I want us to heal that. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. It's itchy. But I want us to heal that. I want us to heal the ability to not just be able to express our emotions, but for our communities as a whole to nurture us through it, and not use it as a tool. I'm going to speak on a lot of things that are controversial in this video. One of the very controversial things that had happened to me was, I had someone who was a pastor, and they used my emotional state and my stepdaughter's emotional state to pitch us against each other. And we was pretty much, we went through a lot together. And me and her clashed over, how we should run the household, because anyone who has a daughter knows girls want to run shit immediately. And I left a lot of responsibility to her to help her grow, and felt that if I gave her these responsibilities, it will help her focus more on growing and building, and not more on her depression and her grief. I don't know if that was the right move or the wrong move, but I can tell you what was wrong was the adults around her encouraged her to turn on the very people who supported her, and capitalized off of the conflict that's natural between families that happen and occur, especially during these hard times like grieving and stuff like that. A lot of times, a lot of conflicts arise. So how do we heal each other so that this can help? One thing, ladies and gentlemen, is to embrace our emotions. Stop running from it. If you feel angry, allow yourself to be angry. You have a right to be angry over what's happening to you, because it's not right. That's where the indignation comes from. Another thing will be to let yourself cry. Let yourself be vulnerable. And our communities need to be held accountable for not allowing the safe space. How is it that we are in a country that's run by the Constitution, which is the foundation of a lot of our legal system? Actually, the whole entire legal system is the foundation is based off of our United States Constitution. But there's nothing in penal law that helps address these rights. Like, for example, a right to peace. I want a right to peace. I should be allowed at my grieving time to have the peace of mind to grieve. And then anyone who attacks that, I should be able to hold you accountable in the state of law. So that's where those things come in. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, to heal us is to put love into law. We cannot rely on people's good hearts. Even myself, at times, due to my experiences, I battle bitterness, and I'm human. I'm gonna sit here and be an asshole to somebody one day just because I don't like them. Who knows? That's just what we do. It's human nature. There's a dark side and a light side, right? How I try to balance that within me is, I do stuff that's for my community. I try to be out there to help people. I try to help as many people as I can, but I've learned a hard lesson is if I help people within my personal life, I'm actually opening myself up to being attacked, abused, and my children being attacked and abused. That's a big weapon people use. As a single mom, they use your children against you a lot. I've had that happen to me a lot. Like recently I was thrown out of a group based off of me being angry over the way they were mistreating me, and they did it to hurt my children because they knew that I needed a community to turn to for my children. So these are things that, that group, if we had turned love into law, if that group knowing and understanding my emotional traumas and my children's emotional traumas, I should be able to go to the law and turn around and hold them accountable for deliberately demonizing my emotions and weaponizing them to incite more depression, incite more sadness. That's what I'm talking about, to heal. Until we emotionally mature to see emotions as a thing to protect within each other and allow us to connect, which we're no longer able to do that at this moment. I don't want to rely on your good heart. I don't want to rely on my good heart because I have good days and bad days, and but I do feel if we consciously make love into law and make it where emotions are protected under law, then you'll see people check their behavior more. I like the same thing happened with the marijuana laws. In New York State, marijuana became legal within the past year or so, recreationally. And I saw the switch. I saw people that usually would look at you like for smoking marijuana, like you was a junkie, drug addict, and criminal. Now they imbibe. So the behavior changes once you put it into law. So if we put love into law, ladies and gentlemen, and protect our emotional state and make it important in law to have the police rest on our behalf as a community and also hold our communities accountable. I mean, I should be able to hold an entire community accountable for allowing things like that to happen, like allowing a church to thrive and then they're abusing their mandating reporting authority on mothers and children because they're at vulnerable states. These are some of the ideas that we should do. And that's why I put these videos out, because I know if I'm going through it, you're going through it too. I know if I have to protect myself this way, then you're doing the same. And that's where I'm hoping to reach and connect with you. And let's do this. Let's come together as a community. Let's put love into law. Let's see what that looks like. Let's make a social contract law that allows the police to rest on our behalf, so that this way there are dangerous people like human trafficking and other stuff out there that weaponizes these things, and then there's nothing to protect us because it's not illegal. So, and then our laws are reactionary, and once you're either trafficked or abused physically in some point, or something happens, by then the deed's done. It's too late. The damage is done. The emotional trauma from that damage is set in, and there's nothing to protect you or me from preventing it from happening, unless we make inciting our emotions and mental health illegal. Just like if I was to incite a riot in a whole entire crowd to violence, I can go to jail. So why not make it where if we incite each other individually, the same thing? Thank you. And I hope that helps. Let's heal. Let's bridge the gap. And come see me out. If you don't know about me, Sparrow INTL is my Instagram as well as Facebook. Wilhelmina Sparrow. Look me up. Hi. And yeah, put love into law, and come check out the events that we be doing and hosting, working with non-for-profits in the area and everything. So let's do this. Peace.